Hello again, it's Garson with another quick guide, but for this time, it's the Path of the Giants, the new Barbarian subclass in patch 8. We're gonna have the dog go ahead and demonstrate what happens when you mess with giants. Here we go. How dare you attack my dog? Wait, lady, what are you talking about? Here we go. Boom. Alright, so we're gonna take our slammin' salami and we're gonna light it on fire because we're pissed off. Nobody messes with the dog. And now we're gonna throw our salami for massive damage. Boom! That's still ridiculous. Okay. Yeah. And including that, we can also kick people with our bonus action or even throw them off cliffs. This is the Path of the Giants. So without further ado, let's get in it. I'm going to show you how to make flaming salami into the strongest weapon in the game. Here we go. All right. Back it up. So this is a quick guide, real quick. It's Path of the Giants, the new Barbarian subclass. All the classes got a new subclass. And if you said, I'm a big guy and I like to throw literally everything, allies, enemies, everything, including salami, then this is the subclass for you. So a big thank you for those supporting the channel and watching. Love you guys. We're going to dive right into it. Sorry to be so brief. This is so much information to cover. And yet Giant is going to make this a lot easier and quicker. So what is a quick guide? We're not optimizing the fun out of it, but this isn't the most craziest multi-class. I'm actually just optimizing so it gets to the point, does at least one thing, the new thing, really well, and does it really well. And also I have breakdown videos and multi-class guides and all that stuff in other videos. This is just about getting straight in there and having fun. How quick can I do it? Well, I've played all the new subclasses in honor mode, so let's dive right in and I'll try and make it quick. So what is Path of the Giants? If you ever wanted to be a hulking giant of a warrior with deadly throws and kicks and can throw salami on fire, this is the subclass for you. But what exactly does it do? Okay, so your rage now increases your size literally. You can get a rage bonus when you do throw attacks. You literally get a double bonus for thrown attacks. You can infuse any weapon at level 6. It doesn't even cost an action, so you can use elements at your pleasure, and you can throw any weapon. It'll turn it into a thrown weapon, giving it thrown weapon bonuses like Tavern Brawler, and you can infuse the infused weapon will return back to you, very similar to the returning pike or Eldritch Knight weapons. We also get this awesome bonus kick, so instead of shoving targets, you will now kick them and do a literal unarmed attack bonus damage and kick them off a cliff. But you can also now, when you're in rage, you can throw them with Mighty Impel using your bonus action, not just your action. So what are your stats? I think you can guess what your stat is primarily going to be. It's going to be strength, but we are going to cheat a little bit. This is the one time I'm really going to recommend you use an elixir of giant cloud strength, and definitely go after them like they're going out of stock. Supply is low, demand is high. Okay, so find these, buy these, because you want the highest strength you can, so you can throw everything, hit hard, jump really, really far, and hold a lot of stuff to throw, including dead bodies, right? So Constitution is going to be really the only other stat, and I guess I could have put Dex in here, but that's just because we're unarmored. You get a lot of benefits from that too. But really, Constitution gives us an armor class bonus for being a barbarian at level 1 and having no armor on. No armor on. And then also we have big HP from this. In fact, I took tough and now I'm up to 173 at level 12. That's kind of crazy. All right, so what's our starting stats? Well, 11 strength. Well, we're going to use an elixir to totally cap this out. So we're actually going to go with Dex and 17 Constitution. I'm just going to keep it simple. I think you can figure that out when starting a new character. But the reason we use the elixir is because honestly, it stays so consistent. When you use Tavern Brawler, this is non-negotiable for throwing builds. This is basically the one and only way you really maximize damage. Tavern Brawler is going to double the strength bonuses on thrown attacks for both accuracy and damage. That's why my salami did massive damage, and it gets even stronger with Elemental Cleaver. So your second feat can be really whatever, but I took Constitution. And the reason I recommend it is you'll get more armor class when you're not wearing light or higher armor, and also you'll have a lot of HP, so you can just tank hits. Especially when you're enraged, you get resistance to physical damage types. Okay, so flex pick, really honestly, for the third feat, you can just take really whatever you want. Like I said, I took toughness, so now I have massive HP. That would be my recommendation. And let's get right into it. The first equipment is an elixir, because if you go for the whatever giant elixir hill, will give you 21 strength. It's right here. You can find these all through Act 1, Act 2. Please buy a lot of them. You will be surprised how much you run through these, but they last the whole day, so you can keep a long rest period going. And then in Act 3, you will find Cloud Giants that give you 27 strength. That's why I have an absurd 27 strength and can use my stats elsewhere. You could even use it in Charisma just to be a Riz Lord and go around telling people to kill themselves and intimidating them. So weapons, early game, you just want to go ahead and find as many thrown type weapons. These are the only weapons that receive the full damage bonus from strength when you throw them at targets. You can use piercing from daggers and from javelins. There's even bludgeoning types with hammers. Just try to find these. Okay, in combat, you want to be throwing them and picking them up. Also, I would definitely highly recommend picking this up in the Goblin Camp. It's called a Returning Pike. It will literally come back to you when you throw it. Just make sure, if you haven't already received it after throwing it, wait a second, and then it'll come back to you. Trust me, it happens all the time. You may lose this weapon if you don't pay attention to that. So anyway, level 6, the Salami is now your main weapon. Jokes aside, you can literally make Salami into a disgusting, powerful, crazy damaging weapon, because you can make basically any weapon, and there's even a trick to make thrown weapons be thrown and come back to you with Elemental Cleaver after level 6. It's the most hilarious feature and it's very powerful. We'll talk about it. Kashigo gloves are the first gloves you want to find. I don't have them here, but they're pretty easy to get in the Underdark in Act 1. It just gives a bonus to throwing damage. But I really recommend the Helldust gloves from here on out once you find them in Act 2, and then eventually the super version in Act 3. The Helldust gloves adds fire damage to weapon attacks, but it also somehow adds the bleeding from an unarmed attack, because weirdness about unarmed tavern brawler. Yeah, I don't want to talk about it. Anyway, it can cause bleeding and it does extra fire damage. So especially if you're using Elemental Fire Cleaver, it's really good. Okay, so this is my recommendation to keep things simple, stupid, and fun. So Bone Spike Boots is just a fun Act 3 item. So now you have the Brutal Leap ability. When you jump on somebody, you can do this Brutal Leap and potentially prone targets. Just a fun thing in there, not really necessary. And it does give you bonus armor class for not wearing armor, which is what we're doing. The Fling Ring can be acquired really early in the Grove. So you just buy this and get an easy 1d4 on your thrown attacks. And the Crusher Ring, there's a lot of ring slots. You could probably take this just to have even more movement speed, because I think, yeah, I'm up to 50 movement speed for unarmored movement. Okay, how did I play this? I just threw anything. Anything? Yes, I threw anything. In the early game, you want to find thrown weapons. You have to throw them, you have to pick them up. But it's stupidly fun and simple, especially after level 6. You're going to have tons of fun with this. So Act 1, go find Ethel and buy the crap out of these hill giant strength, or in the Underdark there's the one dwarf that's looking for her husband. You can buy it from her. Every rest period I would recommend just stockpiling these until you have like a stupid amount of them. They're honestly cheap if you have a good amount of charisma and persuasion, even on your barbarian, right? Or you can just steal them. You want these so that you can just max out your strength. It is going to be your elixir slot, but this is the easiest way to have fun with this throwing build. Just hit stuff with strength in the early game. Make sure you're raging, because it does give you a defensive bonus. And once you're a giant, you can actually get a bonus to your thrown weapon damage by finding and throwing weapons. Just throw them, throw everything, throw your friends, throw your enemies, throw your allies. It doesn't matter. So just make sure if you are throwing these weapons, you're collecting them at the end of a battle, so you have quote-unquote ammunition for the next battle. I assure you that's the most complicated thing to this build. So throw your enemies, throw your friends, push everybody off a cliff with your bonus action, of course, and then just find the Returning Pike. Like I said, you're gonna love this thing until level 6, when you can use anything in the same capacity as you're using this. Okay, so Tavern Brawler is essential. Let me stress it one more time. If I have a bonus of +8, that means I actually get a bonus of 16 to accuracy and damage when I'm throwing any kind of weapon. And when we get Elemental Cleaver, it gets even dumber. So Act 2, just throw things. It feels good. Kick things instead of shove. On the bonus action, you should now use kick, because you don't even have to rage to use Boot of the Giants. This is an unarmed attack, okay? And then it also just gives you any kind of bonus. So if you're using the Helldust gloves, you actually get a nice little necrotic damage bonus. That's why I recommended it. Elemental Cleaver at level 6 is going to change your world. This costs no action to do. If you accidentally goof up and made your weapon fire instead of ice like you wanted to, you could do that. And this is why I'm making things simple and flexible. You could find tons of gear and make yourself an ice giant, an acid giant, giant, a fire giant, and so on and so forth, okay? There's tons of ways to just build this. I'm giving you the most basic form, and then as you play the game, especially once you get to level 6, you can really customize your giant for specific or all types of elemental damage. We'll talk about Cleaver in a moment. Light up that salami, throw everybody, throw the salami in their face, do massive damage, and watch the world burn, and you can end world hunger all at the same time. In Act 3, yeah, I think you can figure it out. So in multi-class leveling, what I have recommended as we level up, I'll give you some stars where I think multi-classing could be good, especially 1, 2, or 3 stars worth of it, right? So level 3 might actually be a decent multi-class to throw this in there on some other multi-class if you started this elsewhere or you want to start here. But it's because you get the giant rage. Rage is good among all the other berserk or barbarian rage options. You might actually want the size increase and the extra weight limit that this subclass actually provides, but overall you get 3 charges, you get the giant rage, can't be pushed as bad, might be fun. Just add flavor more than anything. So level 4 we get Tavern Brawler, the feat. Now we're capable of doing really good damage, but we have to have thrown weapons like the returning pike or daggers or whatnot. Level 5 though is probably a pretty good place to multi-class, but I want to hold off for level 6 and you'll see why. But level 5 does give you the extra attack, the Boot of the Giants, which does not need rage, so you kick instead of shove by doing damage and pushing. And you do get the movement speed if you're doing what I'm doing, no armor, just having some snazzy awesome threads I picked up from some dead guy that I got revenge on. So level 6 is 3 stars because this is probably the best place to you know, get up to level 6 giant and go do something else, mix it with anything else, because now you have plenty of charges for rage. You have 4 at this point per long rest, and elemental cleaver, like I said, will change your world, and we'll go over some details of how to use this optimally. But this is tons of extra damage with extra attack. You really got the whole giant thing going for you. I won't say the rest of this class or subclass is bad, it's just that if you want to keep things simple, just keep going. Otherwise, you got a cool multi-class break off here. Level 7 might actually be an okay, just because Feral Instinct is really great. Basically, it gives you a little +3 initiative, but you cannot be surprised. It's very similar to Alert, and therefore you won't need the Alert feat or Vigilance elixir. Level 8 is a second feat. Like I said, at this point, pick whatever you want, but I picked 2 Constitution. Level 9, Brutal Critical, might be a hopping off point. You came up this far in Barbarian with the giant, you might want critical hits. It does affect your thrown damage, so that's awesome. Brutal Critical just adds another dice damage into the further dice damage whenever you crit, so it's a pretty good extra damage if you're building for crits. On top of that, level 10 might also be good because now you can throw people when you enrage. You can now use your bonus action to throw people, and I think this actually has better conditions for throwing certain size targets, but I have to test that. I don't want to confirm anything I don't truly know. Level 11, Relentless Rage, just has a little bit of a benefit there. It's not that big of a deal. Level 12, third feat, and then you're finally all 5 charges and you're full Barbarian Path of the Giants, right? Tech info, well, sad jellyfish noises. If you know, you know. I just had to put it in there. Colossal size. The only thing that's actually going to stack size, by the way, not enlarge, not weapon benefits. When you enlarge with enrage, you have to have a elixir of Colossus. This effect from the elixir, meaning you won't be able to use the giant elixir. So if you know of other ways to get massive strength like this club, you could actually maybe use the club and the elixir. This is kind of what I did. I went for natty strength, but the reason I did it is because obviously I wanted the biggest guy around. So now when I enrage, I'll not only be big from the Colossus elixir. Okay. There we go. And I think she just did that. But now when I enrage, I'm gonna go ahead and cheat. Save us some time. I'm gonna cheat. Oh, you're a cheater. Oh, boom. Okay, so now when I enrage, I get even larger. Okay, this is as big as you can get, and if you're this big, you can pick up almost anybody. What? Too heavy to throw? What you talking about, boy? Oh well, just kick him. Boom. Okay. I said kick that guy. Okay, so I think you can see where I was going with this, but yeah. Let me roll this back and we'll get right into it. Colossus size, you really do. The only way to get this gigantic size, colossal size, is the Colossus elixir, which means you're giving up your elixir slot. And I want to mention for a moment, this is how you make a really big chicken with a wild shape owlbear. So the Gale Jira video could show you that. So size really does matter. It determines whether things are too heavy to push or throw. So if you become larger and you have a lot of strength, you can push and throw just about everybody. Elemental Cleaver, you must rage. Okay, let's go over this for 1 second. Elemental Cleaver at level 6, you must be enraged, but it's going to add the 1d6 of whatever element you choose. Thankfully, there's no action or bonus action, so if you use your bonus action to enrage to even enable this, you're in luck. Or if you pick the wrong element, just redo it. So it adds a 1d6, your choice of element, last all rage, don't worry about that, and no action or bonus needs to be taken to use it, obviously. Any weapon, let me show you a really cool trick. Let me see if I can activate it for you really quick without wasting too much time. When I enrage, if I take out, say, my ranged weapon, there we go, and now I cleaver it, so you can even cleaver a bow, maybe a giant bow user. You want to see something really silly though? I can now drop this on the ground, and this is the only way this works, but you can actually drop it on the ground, throw it at somebody, and you can be a ranged character. Isn't that hilarious? All right, so you can actually throw even an elemental cleaver, hellrider bow, or, you know, crossbow or something. Pretty silly trick, but Shadowblade does not work if you somehow weave this in here, except for the Shadowblade ring. Too much info though, so let's keep going. Any weapon you do this to will gain the thrown property, which means it does actually use your strength and does full damage when you throw it, and then it'll return to you, which is a really amazing thing if you've ever played Eldritch Knights. Rage throw also gives a bonus to damage, so you literally get like a +2/+2 bonus, and it even applies to the elemental damage. So let's talk about that for a second too. So when you throw a weapon, it gets a +2/+2, that's +4 in total. It's literally like that. So it gets a bonus when you're in rage, but Tavern Brawler also gives you a big bonus, and that's why we're able to throw a bow at this guy and literally hit him for tons and tons of damage. So the key to throwing builds is Tavern Brawler. It literally doubles your strength and damage. We've talked about it enough, but this also applies to Elemental Cleaver. So in addition to the 1d6 element, you get +4 from the rage, and you'll get that double rage bonus, or you'll get the Tavern Brawler bonus. Not double, but you'll get this full +8 to the elemental damage too. So that's pretty crazy, and it's why Tavern Brawler is amazing on Path of the Giants. So boots, giant boot. Use this instead of the kick. You saw me use it earlier. It does count as an unarmed combat move, so that's why I'm getting the necrotic damage from the gloves. So just keep all that in mind. Whoopsie, I lost my track. There we go. So use shove. Use this instead of shove, and you don't even have to rage to use it. Mighty Impel, you must rage to use this, but now you have another way of throwing people with your bonus action. So you can throw a weapon with your two. You throw a weapon with your two actions, and then you can go ahead and throw people with your Mighty Impel, or just kick them down the stairs and laugh at them. Okay? Throw as a bonus action. You can throw heavier targets, but like I said, I need to test this. Sorry for putting it here, but it's something worth noting, and I haven't confirmed it yet. Again, Giant plus Colossus Elixir plus Owlbear Druid is the strongest thing in the game, and there is a video I will leave in the links for that. It's insane. It's my favorite, one of my favorite builds of all time. So how do you play and level this? What about that giant chicken thing? Okay, I'm going to leave you links in the comments. In playlist number 3, new subclasses only, run 3. I played a dirge run, and I played a giant dirge. So come join the live stream and check out this playlist. Ask questions. I love answering questions in the comments and chat, because you guys are my sponsor, and I'm going to move on to the next quick guide. So go play the Path of the Giants.